Hey, this is Jerrod here with Huntin' Fool. I'm here with Butch Whiting, CEO of Kryptek, and we're going to run through the Altitude collection in this video. It's a collection you guys put a lot of time, effort, and R&D into. But I think it's important to note that on the Kryptek side of things, that you guys are always designing things in collections. Can you talk to us a little bit about why the collection idea, and then we'll run through some of the Altitude line?
Well, the collections is kind of like how you would tackle a season or an environment. So if you think about super hot weather into extreme cold weather, basically if you have a collection, which is an ensemble of gear to go into that environment, and it's bundled, you kind of solve the issue and the problems all in one, one collection, so to speak. So
from layers, basically a layering system that's designed to attack a certain environment.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Altitude collection is probably the most extensive collection within the family of Kryptek products.
How many total pieces in that collection?
I knew you were going to ask me that. We just added a new 3 more, so I think we're at a total of 12 different pieces within the collections.
Right. And what was the mindset behind introducing or designing the Altitude? Was it sheep hunters? Was it what's the environment you were attacking?
Well, it started off as extremely aspirational, and it was an infatuation with shoulder products that were in brands that were not hunting friendly, that we were using. So some of those brands are anti-hunting, right? Like, I don't want to throw them out there and cause problems, but you can guess. Mountaineering, skiing companies, these types of things, and they're premium fabrics, right? Super premium. The technologies that Shoulder have are off the charts amazing, and their background and history, they've got just enormous amount of technology, and so we wanted to spiral some of those technologies into the hunting market. And at the end of the day, that's where it started. So Switzerland is where the fabrics are made, and then the fabric's printed in Germany. And so it's wet printed there. So on the shoulder pieces, it's extensive, and we're the only brand in the hunting market that has a deal with shoulder fabric. So it's definitely been an aspirational piece, and the prices are extremely high, and we're getting them down, right? So we've taken control of various aspects of this along the way, and quite frankly, we are going to have to take this collection to direct to consumer only. So
not enough margin in it to keep it reasonably priced.
Well, that's where it lies down to. For real, it's just for the guys that can afford it, they're going to afford whatever. But the guys that would like to have it, it's just way out there, right? So if you're dropping $1,500 for a rain system, that's a lot, right? So we're working on getting everything down to from the manufacturing it to the factories, and basically really offering it at a lower margin so that we can get it in the masses.
Retail price point somewhere where it's more attainable.
That's right.
For more consumers.
That's correct.
Awesome.
So
let's walk through it a little bit. I know that the pattern itself is unique and exclusive to the Altitude collection. Is that right still?
Well, it's the exact same pattern that we developed for the U.S. military, which is the Highlander, which is our most popular camo, right?
Yep.
It's just the colorways have changed. So we plugged in some darker greens and grays, and then the core fabric here, it's printed in Germany. You get this extremely consistent finish across all the products. So
even with different fabrics, the finish and look is identical.
And that's always a challenge, right? In any hunting collection, depending on the fabrics, you might have, a different tint or a different shade, right? But you can't just look at this rack and tell the differences, say, for the Bora soft shell versus the Takor rain gear. They just look exactly the same. So that's just the paint job. It is unique, and it was designed for above tree line, but what you'll find is like in sagebrush, down lower, I mean, you still get this amazing effect. And there's all kinds of really cool videos of like elk hunts, and guys are sitting there in altitude, and bulls are just
wide
walking.
open.
Yeah, wide open. Guys are walking right up to them, and so that works. But really, once you get past the paint job, it goes back to the technologies. The major technologies in the collection are all proprietary to Shoulder. So, for example, the sea change laminate that's used in the rain gear, that's super high end. it actually, as you get hot, it expands and you vapor off more of your heat.
No way.
And then I'm not kidding you, it's the real deal, dude. And then as you sit down and you're, say, glassing, it contracts back down and retains the heat. So it's a living piece of your gear, right? The waterproofness is exceptional, and the DWR treatment, especially on the dry skin, which is my favorite piece. That's the pant, and there's also a jacket that goes with it. It's remarkable. I mean, when it is breathed like you can't imagine how well it breathes. It wasn't designed to be any water resistant or waterproof, but full blown downpours, and it just sheds it, right? So anyway, that's the big key with the Altitude is the shoulder fabric.
So with you saying that on the pant and the shirt, if I'm a consumer and I want to jump into Altitude, is there a way that I can get the junior varsity introduction into the gear, a handful of pieces that get me started?
Yeah.
Or do I need to have the whole collection? Talk to me about that.
I think that where you start is with the 𝗙RMA series, which is the new fleece series. There's 3 pieces in there. There's an extremely warm weather piece, and then there's 2 other more layering pieces. One's a full zip and one's a quarter zip. We've been pushing hard to get those more in alignment with an entry level, and then you would go into the soft shell. Oh, this is not the right one. Let me see if you grab it. Pant here. So this has the what's called dry skin fabric, and it's performance meets durability, so you can feel the stretch in this.
Definitely a lot of stretch.
But man, I'm telling you, you want to talk about durability, this thing's it's bomb proof, right? I mean,
you were telling us that one of your customer testimonies had slid down a rock slide on their butt or something like that and didn't tear them up.
We've had a lot of different testimonies that come back in that say, I can't believe how well this has held up. This pant, you can find comparable references in the market, but they're going to be under those brands that necessarily aren't
green brands.
I mean, I guess you want to call them green brands. So my favorite piece is the 𝗙ecie pant, and also for this year is a jacket that goes with this.
So a 𝗙cie pant and jacket, and then the 𝗙RMA.
That would be a real good starting entry level.
Right.
And then if the next piece, if I was on a limited budget, I'd go to would be a Bora jacket, and that's going to be the soft shell jacket, which is extremely, extremely water resistant. But the truth be told, it's
next level above water resistant.
Right.
Closer to waterproof.
Oh yeah. The only thing that doesn't make it waterproof is that it doesn't have welded seams on the inside.
Gotcha.
That's the only thing.
Okay.
So if you did take that into a torrential downpour, let's say a hurricane in Houston, which this actually happened, and then you could get wet along the seams. Along the seams.
Right.
I had a guy in Houston that was in the hurricane recovering people that were stranded on rooftops in his boat, and he said, hey, this rain gear fell along the seams, and we said, that's not rain gear, you grabbed the wrong jacket.
That's amazing though, that he had it confused.
Yeah, he did.
That's a pretty good that's pretty good testimony in and of itself. So there you have it. Check out the Kryptek Altitude line. Again, Butch outlined for us some entry-level pieces that'll give you an opportunity to test the water, so to speak. But this is 3rd year, I think, in production for this stuff. Tried, tested. It's definitely something that you need to take a hard look at if you're looking for comfort meets durability and performance in the field.
That's a good summary of it.
All right, thanks.